Boom, what's going on, world? It's your boy, Kuya. This is the NRW. Nerds rule the world. And as you see on the screen, I have a special guest. I'm so excited. Y'all know I love music. Music was my heart before I jumped into film. And now I've been doing a lot of interviews with some amazing musicians. And today I have another one for y'all. Maz Lovella. We're talking all about her brand new single, killing it for the new year. She's here with Pushing Daisies, not to be confused with the TV series, although I'm curious if that might have been inspired in a way because I love me some Lee Pace. But anyway, I'm a super nerd, as you can tell, Maz. What's going on? That's Maz Lovella. I'm shooting off air horns right now. Boom, boom. It's in post, so you're not deafened right now, Maz. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you. Again, as I was telling you earlier, it's all energy as creatives. We need each other's support, love, to vibe, to build, because we erase all the negative in the world with what we're doing. So we gotta feed each other.
Agreed. Totally. Music is the weapon of choice for me.
Hey, I love it. So Thank you for giving me your time, and let's celebrate you though, homie. You coming out with Pushing Daisies out here. I know it's been in the works a little bit. I was vibing to it right before we started this interview. I dig it. It's got like this slow vibe, and then you kind of describe it. What did you say in this write-up I got? Shout out to the homie Gracie. It's like a panic attack production. It then builds, and it has like this trippy. And I'm an old club head, so I ain't gonna lie. I'm a music head, and then I was a club head, so it kind of gave me that vibe when I first walked in. And then okay, I'm drinking a little bit. Now I'm like, hold on, what's going on? But then I come back to center. I don't know if that's what you're going for, but please tell me the genesis of Pushing Daisies.
You're super spot on. Yeah, I wrote the song like when I was 18, maybe even younger than that. And I had waited a long time to produce it because I wrote it acoustically at first, and I wanted it kind of like that buildup that you're talking about, to have this sort of like energy of existential dread, basically almost like a panic attack, but more like you're spiraling in thought. And I also wanted it to sound super hot. And then I found an awesome producer who I work really well with. His name's Ryan. Shout out to him. He's absolutely amazing. And he just understood the assignment, and like within 3 hours we had just like brought it fully to life. And so like you're super spot on with like that building of angst, and it's a super angsty song. So that's sort of how it came to life.
I dig it. I love it. And I was also reading like you write with your cats, just chilling in a room with your guitar. There's also you wanted to capture like the spicy vibes from the L Word, which was a dope show back in the day.
The L Word. I really wanted it to like, I mean, really, I like came to him and I was like, I want it to sound like early 2000s, like queer core, just like give it to me. And we like came up with this, I don't know, the way the song sounds, and it was super epic. It does have this like early 2000s L Word vibe, like you could see it in like a super spicy scene or something, and I love it.
I dig it. Do you recall what was like was it like the beat first, or was it a line? Like how tell me a little bit about the development of the track, because I know there's a lot of production heads that watch what I do, and we're all about that nitty gritty, putting that work in. How long did it take to make this happen? Because it takes time to get certain tracks out there. And like you said, this track was something you wrote a while back, and now you're finally putting it out there.
I mean, I think that's like a thing with like a lot of creatives. It's just like you'll like write something years ago, and then after like a while you're like, I hate it and I don't want to release that. And you end up in this like vicious cycle of not releasing the things you create. And I feel like I was almost there with it. I'm like, oh, this song's like really angsty. Like I'm 23 now. I was like, do I want to lean that much into angst? And I was like, you know what? Screw that. Hell yes, I do. And when I came to Ryan with the idea, we were just sort of like sitting in the studio, and we were just, shooting the shit, coming up with ideas. And I just played it for him on my guitar, and it's just like a really like simple.
So you hit like the kind of like the rhythm a little bit.
Yeah, it's like dun 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 dun, and I played him for that, and I sang the first like 2 verses, and he was just like, yes, this is what we're doing. And then literally from right there, Ryan works really quick. He's actually like he's like he teaches kids how to like produce and stuff. He does like a bunch of crazy awesome things, but he works really quick. So literally we've like recorded everything, mixed and mastered I mean, other than like a couple little tweaks here and there, but like probably 4 hours. And then yeah, probably like 4 hours. I wish I could give you more of like the production
Oh,
dates.
no
I'm still
worries.
myself. I'm an acoustic artist coming more into like produce stuff and hopefully to be learning production myself soon as
I
well,
feel
because
that.
I just really love to I have some crazy noises in my head that I just like to birth out here. So
Hey, that's what we do. That's what we do. I love that. So
yeah.
yeah, like you're an acoustic artist, production. So I'm sure so you learned a lot, I'm assuming, in this process, like what you like, what you take out of
Yeah.
it. With it being, kind of birthed acoustically and then now production. Have you ever performed it live yet or anything like that?
Not yet. Well, technically I've performed it like acoustic live, but that's lame. I wanna I'm in this place in my life where I'm working with a bunch of different awesome people on some really epic projects and wanting to create music that is high vibrational, but also literally high vibes. Like I want people going nuts, when they listen to my music. I want to like when I perform, I want to go crazy. I want people dancing in the crowd.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and I think that's like a part of that where I'm sort of that's actually a big goal for me this year is to do way more live performances and kind of like curate my live shows more and my experiences because I I really do love performing. I love being on stage and I just want to make it fun for people who show up.
I dig that. You're an empath. You need that energy. You need a vibe from the people.
Do you
I,
not see the aurora borealis right behind me?
right? It's feeding to you right now, so you could bring it off to the people. I love that. Who came up with choosing "Pushing Daisies" as the title of the track? And were they
So
influenced by Lee Pace? And I don't know if you're familiar. Maybe I'm showing my age, but that was a classic TV series back in the day.
So I'm going to be so real with you. I have never heard of this TV show in my entire life. I'm so sorry.
But have you heard
uh,
that? So did other people bring that up at all?
no, you're the first one to
Oh,
say that
okay.
to me. This is like, but
Now you
it's
got to
so.
check it out. Now you
Oh,
got to check it out.
yeah, no, text it to me after this. But I basically pushing daisies or pushing up daisies is a term people have used as like dying, basically kicking the bucket. And in the original acoustic version of a song, there's like the end half of the song, which I then put like that whole awesome mix in. Um, I there's this other part where it's a line from the song basically where I sing about pushing daisies like repeatedly and I go and I'm pushing daisies and like over and over again and it didn't make it for the final song but I still kept it as the name. But yeah, as far as like inspiration, I think I was like 17 and I was just like pushing up daisies like
You an emo kid. I see
no.
the emo in you. That's where it came from too.
I actually wasn't an emo kid, but I did hang out with a lot of like grungy kids who were very sad. I think we had like a lot of sad children. And I did have some emo friends actually, but never was an emo. I never had a scene phase or an emo phase, surprisingly. Um, but yeah, definitely like existential dread. Like that, I think like when we're just go on a side note real quick. I think when we're in that age, like I had lost a lot of friends to not to get super dark, but I had lost a lot of friends to suicide. And I had like come to this realization that, we are experiencing a death during that time. To feel angsty, to feel that existential dread is completely normal, but it's not like a physical death that we're, supposed to be experiencing. It's like a metaphysical death of like, not to get super heady, but like of like mourning our childhood and coming into adulthood. There is some essence of death in that period of our life and our development. So I was definitely leaning into the angst more at that time. And I think like with all of that in mind, I was just like pushing up daisies. Yes, like I'm better off dead than in my hometown. Like, but yeah. So sorry.
I feel that. I totally feel it. I think it's a perfect title. Yeah, as an artist as well as an old-headed artist who's been through it all, I feel you. And no, I think it's a perfect title. And being the nerd that I am, and this is the NRW Nerds Rule the World. We recall classic TV series like Pushing Daisies, which is kind of similar vein in anyway. But
So
yeah.
I'm gonna have to now, and I love TV. I love acting. In another life, I'm a super awesome actress. In this life, music is my life. And who knows, maybe one day I'll make the musician to actor kick. So
Hey, holla, holla. So Pushing Daisies is out. Your brand new single available out there in the world. And like you said, you're gonna get more into production and just kind of continue with that, building from that. Let's talk on how the journey started. I was reading, man, you were taking piano lessons at 7. You taught yourself guitar. Can I get some background bio on Maz Lovella of just like how music came into your life? What were some of your initial original music influences that helped you create your sound in a way, or inspired your sound more so?
Yeah, music has always I get chills when I think about it, because it's the one constant in my life that is just weirdly like always inspired me, and I've just felt super connected to when I couldn't really like as a 7-year-old, you can communicate well, but I felt like the way that I looked at music and looked at the piano made a lot more sense than a lot of other things in my life. And yeah, I just felt really connected, so started taking lessons and really enjoyed taking lessons. I think some kids are like, oh yeah, my parents forced me to do that as a kid, and now I have this half skill. But it was like the best part of my week, going to see my piano teacher and just like learn. And yeah, she would like play like a lot of the Beatles, and I just like really fell in love with the Beatles, and I think just like classic rock in general as like a really young kid. And yeah, from there I just sort of loved really the Beatles. I was like, this sounds really cool, I want to make music. And then I just started making music. It obviously didn't sound like the Beatles, but just started
Was it classic rock that made you pick up the guitar because you're already doing the piano, right? Was it because I would assume as a rock head too, like that's why you picked up the guitar.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was like, I want to be that cool. And then I picked up the guitar. I think I was like, I got a ukulele when I was like 10, and that was awesome. And that was like a really good like intro into like string held instruments. And then got my first guitar when I was like 12, and it was like a Walmart guitar. It was just like, which was like the coolest thing to me on the planet. I like didn't even care. It was just like, yes, finally. And yeah, it just it was super small too. The thing was awesome. And just started teaching myself, and then dove deeper into music outside of classic rock, obviously, and then got really into like a alternative rock, like dream pop, like Mozzie Star, Elliot, and like even like sadder, I guess you could say the umbrella term of like indie music, but like Elliott Smith was like a big inspiration.
Yeah.
During that time, Alex G was like releasing albums like Rocket and stuff, and that was like such a big inspiration for me. Like loved Alex G, loved Elliott Smith, Mozzie Star, that whole sort of vibe, and took a lot of like my inspiration from there. And then like a lot of like I grew up in Fort Collins, Colorado, and there's like a really great, at least I think a pretty great like local music scene. So I was just really lucky to be surrounded by other musicians who loved listening to music, whether it was obscure or just like whatever. And yeah, I grew up with like a lot of musicians as my friends. We were all like the musicians, and we'd all put on DIY shows, whether it's at houses and garages. And that's why I can't hear so well. So if you're watching this,
you're standing too close to the speaker.
It's not dorky to wear protection in your ears. It's not dorky at all. Matter of fact, it's hot. You'll get babes. It's super hot, and you'll be able to hear when people talk to you. But yeah. So I just was surrounded by all these awesome individuals who were really passionate about making music, and whether it was like super hardcore grunge or like heavy metal or very like acoustic folk. I've been really inspired by all kinds of music. And yeah, I think in my work now, I really loved writing really soft guitar songs, just because I had never really worked with other people, so that's sort of what I started doing. And my influences of like Alex G, of Elliott Smith, of Mozzie Star, I think really show a lot in my music, at least in my opinion. Not for maybe this release, but maybe this release it's more like Charlie XCX and Billie Eilish. I don't know, but yeah, that's sort of how I kind of came into my music world and where I found inspiration as a kid. I just feel really lucky to have grown up surrounded by a lot of people who loved music just as much
I,
as I did, it even more, you know?
I love that. I love that. Yeah, to me, it became my escape. And I'm curious for you as an artist as well, and also as an artist of color. I want to get on that note because a lot of us here at the NRW are artists of color. We are LGBTQIA. You know, we're everything. You know, we try to defy labels because fuck
Yes.
that. And excuse my language, but fuck that.
Oh, I'm ready.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, so yeah, for me it was like an escape because I grew up in as a military kid, you know, pro America this, nothing, and I love America, don't get it twisted, but just being a person of color, I
Yeah.
know how America has treated me and my people and a lot of people I know, and so
Yeah.
I just became very defiant, but found my love through the arts, and I think that kind of just why my love and just grew and why I became so successful with art as well. um
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
curious for you as a person of color and you know, sexual orientation, how that was for you, and how do you think it also attributed to you just really diving, you know, deep into the art and just finding that's yourself in that, and then finding your tribe through that, which I think is what I think is the best thing for me is, you know, if people aren't going to like me for who I am or my skin color or whatever, you know, I'm gonna find my own tribe, and I found my tribe.
Yeah, I love that. Now I'm like, let me in your tribe. Let me join. I'm here. No, when you gave me chills, I absolutely love that. And I, I just on a whole note, let me start off with I'm Palestinian, 100% Palestinian, and I'm queer. So yes, fall in both of these categories. And first off, I just want to say free Palestine, obviously. But yeah, it is it's hard. Let me say that. I feel like, and I can get super deep into this conversation, but it was really important for me to live really openly about that. And I dealt with like a lot of, I mean, you could say one, the haram police, like just like random people I don't know, or like my family, for example. It's definitely not easy putting myself out there like this as I am, but it's so important because like, and you'll hear this with a lot of people growing up, I didn't see no one like me. I didn't see any Palestinian queer person being like, I'm here. Like everyone wants me dead, but I'm alive. And I think that's a testament to just sort of like what I do. It's really important for me to be that representation for my people, for Palestine, for my family, like for everybody. It's just incredibly important. And it means the world to me, and Palestine means the world to me. My people mean the world to me, and a lot. I feel like growing up in America, and like once again, as like a first generation American immigrant, like I like there is that part where you're like, yes, we love America. Why? Because like, and this is where people don't understand. Yes, America sucks, but also like you should see where we come from. You know, like
That's
almost like
right.
I come from, but that safety, you know, not having bombs going off your door or living in an apartheid state, you know, like there are major blessings and freedoms that my family has been able to accomplish and achieve by being in this country. But yeah, like growing up, it was really lonely. I grew up in one of the whitest places in America, honestly, and it was like very disconnecting. And through my music, I felt for a while, I felt not being ashamed of who I was, but in a sense, yeah, because you know I was around like a bunch of different people and I was treated very differently. I remember in middle school I'd get bullied all the time, and they would say like really terrible things to me, and me being like, "Oh my gosh, like okay," and feeling kind of ashamed of who I was. And by the time I had turned 16, I was like, I was really loving the music I was creating, and I was feeling like I was doing social media more. I've been in social media management since then, and I had moved to Dubai for a few months to like work in fashion over there, and I was working with like this group of people who were just really amazing Arabs from all over the world, and they were just absolutely fantastic, and I found like a lot of inspiration for them. And then coming back home and working my craft, I think I I wanted to connect more with like my roots and who I am. I've always felt very connected, but also I had to distance myself out of survival to fit in,
Oh
literally.
yeah, yeah.
Super fucked up to say, but it's the truth. And I think by the time I was 16 and after leaving Dubai, I was like, you know what, screw that. And it was the moment that, and it was really hard for me. Like I remember it was a really hard time, but I remember being like, I have to live my life openly. I have to be proud of who I am. And you know what? I'm so proud of who I am, and I love who I am, and I love my country, and I love my people. And although I am going to upset a lot of people, which I did, I'm going to just, and not even like people I know, just like me being alive is upsetting millions of people. Probably because, not millions, but like a lot of people, because
Yeah.
I'm queer and I'm Palestinian, and being an Arab woman who's queer is definitely not the most welcome thing. But yeah, I think through my music and that realization and wanting to bring representation to the space and to my people, and just be a voice of love and reason. And yeah, because like no one, like what happens in Palestine, no one really knows about, you know, and they're like, oh, that's too political, or oh, that's and sorry, I'm keep going off, but that's too
No
political.
worries, girl. Go off. This is,
No, seriously, yeah, they're like,
yeah.
that's too political to talk about, or oh, like the media doesn't like show anybody anything. And like I was just back in Philistine this summer, or in October, I was there for a bit, and the things that you'll just see, that the way that they make life so hard for the Palestinian people to just go about their day, like if people knew, if people could see, it would break their hearts. And so a lot of what I do is bringing awareness to that, and I will never shy away from uncomfortable conversation ever. It's selfish, and yeah, but I grew up in the States, and I also feel incredibly responsible to do everything I can, because I was blessed to, you know, be able to grow up here and visit home and have an American passport, you know, which is like a lot more than a lot of other people get. So, but yes,
No
I
worries.
sort of like, sorry, that was like a bit all over the
No,
place.
Maz Lovella, y'all, your boy Kuya P. Like, man, that's, first off, thank you for sharing. Because I think it's so important that there are others that are out there walking the same paths as you and I did, and didn't find anybody, or we're curious if we were alone. I know I felt I was alone. So like, I love, and I'm so thankful you're sharing, because it's going to show that we're not fucking alone out here, people. We are all going through it. No matter, you know, I'm sure, you know, mine is a little bit different from yours, but it's all somewhat the same, you know, and
There
real.
are so many queer Palestinians. I have found them. They exist. It's not just me, and it's awesome. It is
Let's
so
go.
awesome.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Love that. Yeah. So thank you. And I love you for that, because it's going to make so much the difference. This is why we do our art, to help change and show people, you know, that there's that, to just be and exist, because so many, I you know, not to get heavy as well, but I lost a lot, you know, we've all, you know, everybody, you know, and you know, but it's why I do what I do, and just gives me that energy, and why I get hyped, because I don't want people to give the fuck up. I want them to keep going, because they're not alone, and we're here, and we're representing to the fullest, like my girl Maz Lovella out here, with Pushing Daisies. So thank you for that, and again, yeah, you tribe. We're all tribe out here. So I love it. So yeah, that to me inspires music, you know, or whatever art form, and so yeah, we're talking Pushing Daisies. I'm sorry I got off on the trap, because now I got like hype and inspired, and I was almost tearful a second ago, because again, like, I'm an empath, and I'm like, damn, because it, you know, you got to get centered sometimes, and sometimes that helps you bring the center that, yeah, this is why I fucking do what I do. So I thank you for that.
Yeah, you're like totally spot on. And it's just really good to connect with people, you know. It feels good, and it's nice to have these conversations and to be able to share this with the world. I'm definitely looking more forward to speaking more, and I'm just super happy to be here with you. So
honored. So we got Pushing Daisies. We're building. We're gonna do more production. We're gonna do more live shows, so we can vibe with the people in the crowd. What has the input been with Pushing Daisies? How long? I don't know how long it's been out now. For a bit. What has the vibe been from the people?
Like, how long has the song been out? I think like 2 weeks.
Okay.
A little, yeah, almost 2 weeks. I think so. Yes.
And how you feeling? How you feeling? What's the reception been a little bit?
I'm feeling great. I'm just super happy to have this song out there. I've been getting messages from people. People really love the song. And I think that's just as good as it gets for me, at least at the moment. Yeah. it's been received well, and people are really enjoying the song. And I've even had some people making TikToks with it, which is super
Oh,
cool.
that's dope. That's dope. That's like the new age now,
Yeah,
that I'm still learning. Cause again, I'm an older head. Like, and actually that reminds me of my question.
yeah.
Generally, as an old head, we drop a single, then we're gonna drop another single. That's gonna lead to an EP, which is gonna lead to an album. But nowadays, people consume music so much differently now. And you're
Yeah.
a social media cat. So like through TikTok and this and that and third, you really don't need full-length albums anymore. So I'm curious how you feel about that. If you're like kind of like old school like me in a way, like I drop singles till I drop an EP, till I drop an album, then I go on tour with this album. Like, what is your vibe with how the new generation consumes music?
I mean, that's always been my thought process around it. I didn't start, like, I've been writing music for like as long as I can like literally remember as like a conscious person. But I didn't start releasing until 2021. And in my brain, it was like, oh yeah, you release a few singles and you do an EP and then you do an album and then you go on tour, just like you said. Nowadays, with like, I mean, you just see people blowing up overnight. And like even
Yeah.
with my friends, I've seen a few of my friends literally go from like, like, oh, I'm pulling like a few thousand streams on the song, and then all of a sudden, like literally, it just takes one video, one thing, and it's just like changes their life overnight. Um, and that's just like not saying like that's like a liberal thing that happens to like a lot of people, but I think TikTok, like before 2020, it was a lot, easier to go about things that way and promote stuff. And now it feels a bit drowned out. The algorithm's always changing. A single model, for example, people just releasing singles is definitely received very well. A lot of people are doing that. Definitely seeing a lot more people doing EPs, but a lot more established artists to releasing albums, that are received obviously very well and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like people's attention spans and whatnot has become like this. So
Yeah. Do you feel compelled to chase that, to do that formula? Or do you think that will detract from you as an artist? Because I don't know, if I feel like if I'm forced to do what everybody else is doing like that, but then at the same time, we want it now. We want to because we want to be able to reach as many people. It's
yeah,
hard out here.
I mean, there are games you have to play. That's the truth at the end of the
Yeah.
day. But I think as far as creating, like for me, I don't mind releasing singles. Actually, like I enjoy releasing singles because like I don't put myself in a box. I make a lot of different kinds of things, and I just, I think I've come to this place where I'm like, I want to just share the things I make. And yeah, there's definitely like probably pressure to fit into some mold, but as long as like my creative process isn't getting hindered by that, and I can still like I feel free in like my art and aligned with like the things I'm creating and feeling, um, I'll be stoked. And right now, for me, that makes sense to release in singles, and am not saying that I'm not working on an album or an EP, but it just kind of like works for what I'm doing right now. But I definitely do want to do an album, and I definitely do want to go on tour. And I hope to be releasing like an EP this summer, which is
Hey. Okay.
which is goal that I'm working on right now. And I've been traveling a lot, so I'll be heading back to Los Angeles in the next like week, which will be very good for me, and I'll just be finishing things. So
Let's
yeah, but
go.
I think there's always going to be like the way that things are moving towards, and
Yeah.
either flow with that or you can try things your own way and see. But yeah, definitely the singles model has been, I feel like,
Okay. I just don't
more.
want the industry to change you. I've seen the industry change a lot of people, as we know, because they follow trends. They follow,
Yeah,
what they think is that quick and instant way, but then and they say, oh, they're not going to lose their self in that, and they change as an artist, and like you hate to see that, and but do you, as long as it makes you happy, you can always come back to center. Is what I tell them, and because we're always going to be here. Real friends are always going to be there for you. But
exactly. And I don't
yeah,
like, I'm not worried about myself in that way. I think I feel very good and grounded about me and what I want to create and the way I want to create it. But I'm also open to doing things new always. I'll try anything nice. So
I love it. Okay, so we're in the lab, we're in the studio, we're heading back to LA. We got Pushing Daisies. What can we expect with some of the other upcoming tracks maybe soon? What or I don't want to spoil anything and we don't want to give anything away, but like what themes maybe? Can I ask that?
Summer cruising, awesome high vibes, super sexy music, and I'm crying, and this sounds like a soundtrack to a movie. Because like those are like the three things I'll say. I will say this. I do want to give this because I also am holding myself accountable to this. But I have always loved film. You said you love acting. I think that's awesome.
I'm a filmmaker as well. I got a couple productions in the works, so we may have to talk.
Okay, yeah, that's it. So the way I view things, like, and I think people call this clairvoyant, or I'm not really sure what you call it, but like the way I visualize things, it's very visual. The way I visualize things is very visual, but the way I think about things is very visual, and the way I create things, very visual in my brain. I see a lot when I close my eyes, and the music I create has very cinematic qualities for reasons. I want to create very cinematic music, and with creating very cinematic music, I want to create really awesome visuals for people to enjoy. So I hope to be getting into more of that, whether that's releasing more music videos or just other content. I've always really loved video content and art and film. I love film very much, and yeah, so I'm just looking forward to creating some really cinematic songs, and maybe that comes with something very fun to watch. So
hey, I can kind of see a Pushing Daisies music video right now. Have you thought about a treatment to that, or is that
Yes, totally, 100%. Okay. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. There's like a couple other things I'm like very excited to work on. But I definitely think I've shot a lot of visuals for Pushing Daisies, but it's not like, and I have enough to make like a super fun music video. But I've just been doing kind of like, which you can be like, oh, you're conforming, but I make TikToks and I do like Instagram like videos and stuff. So yeah. I've been creating like more like minute length or like 30-second length or even 10-second length visuals for people to work out. So, and that's also like, which could like, I'm looking forward to creating like a bigger piece, but I also love creating like, which can be seen as bad, but I love creating short video content. I love filming really moody things, and yeah, so that's more of like the vibe of what I've been doing and what I look forward to doing. But yeah, cinematic stuff.
I love it. I dig it. That's my vibe. I would, if you ever head out to the DC area, I got my homie Joe Caraballo, who's an amazing filmmaker. We just wrapped on a short film recently, but he's a musician as well. And I think his musical stylings and your musical stylings, as now that I've been introduced to you through your work, I'm like, y'all, I would love to see y'all collab on some shit. And maybe he even could do your video or something. I don't know. He's dope, but like, I'm feeling that vibe. We'll have to connect. And if you ever head out to the DC area and perform, I'd love to see you and rep and show love. Oh my God. So let's make this a live tour happen soon and bringing this back around.
No, that's a goal. I really hope, like, whether it's like fall or winter of like 2023 winter into 2024. I really I look forward to hopefully going on tour with someone and possibly being their opening act and just singing for everybody. Let's go.
Let's go. Well, I'm gonna throw those vibes into the universe. We're gonna make that happen. Maz Lovella, I really appreciate your time. Before I let you go, this is the NRW, where nerds rule the world. I'm a card-carrying nerd, as if you couldn't tell by now. I told you about Pushing Daisies. I'll have to text you later or tell you, all about that show. But what I want to know to close this out is, what is Maz Lovella nerdy about that maybe the people don't know? They know about your music, but like, what do you vibe off of? What do you like, in your spare time? What do you get nerdy about that you could give like a TED talk on?
Oh, I am a nerd. I like in a few things. So a fun fact about me that people probably don't know is I've worked in fintech for a while, and I really enjoy Web3 and decentralized finance and finance in general, which is like super like just really random. But yeah, I was really lucky to get into the space a couple years ago, and that has been an awesome journey for me. Other than that, critters, bugs, love bugs. I'm really nerdy about animals and cats and bugs and sea creatures, just anything that's not a human. Uh, love that. And then I really enjoy surfing. I don't know. That's not super nerdy, but I'm a lot and being in the water. So yeah, like finance, surfing, and critters. I'm not afraid of bugs and spiders. I just really love learning about. When I was a kid, super fun fact, I'll keep it short. I actually used to print out like animal facts.
Yeah.
And tape them on my wall. So when you'd walk into my bedroom, it'd be really funny because it wouldn't be super high because I'm really short. So it just like my bedroom, just like at like child height level, was just like filled with like taped pictures of animal facts. But yeah, I'm a critter person and I love finance.
I love it. I love it. Okay. I love when I ask that question because you learn something new, and then I like go ahead because I'm a nerd again. So then I like, if I don't know something, I'll Google it so I can just learn more all about that. Because it's all about exploring the world. You never know what makes people tick, what gets people inspired. And as a creative, I feed off of that. So thank you.
Very random answers, but honestly very truthful. So
I dig that. And that's what I want to see, and that's what I want to hear. And I appreciate you. So next time you got to come through. As you develop this new album, as you develop these singles, please come back and share so I can give you your flowers. If you ever come through the DC area, like I said, I want to celebrate and check you out. We can go see some bugs at the National Zoo. We can do it all. I really appreciate your time. For everybody checking this out, I'm going to have Maz Lovella's links all in the description below, so you can go give her a follow, subscribe, do all the things. But for those that are driving, because here in the DC area, we are caught in a lot of traffic. If you could tell them how they can reach out to you as well, for those people that are listening right now, Maz.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram, TikTok, or even on Twitter, just at Maz Lovella, MazLovella. And yeah, send me a message, follow me. That's how you find me.
There you go. Shout out to Maz Lovella, pushing Daisies, out and available right now. All of her links are in the description below. Show her love. It's your boy Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. We out here, y'all.
Thank you.
Come back down, down. It's about to get worse.
Ask me to come back down. While I find my place up here in the clouds. Baby, call me back, she loves to hear the sound of my voice that echoes when it hits the ground. Never mind the darkness of the surface that hounds. I'm better off dead than in my hometown.